You are welcome to yet another episode of LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. We have been hearing numerous stories describing what the R&B King termed as the law breaking the law in a move that saw a Bureau of Prisons officer only identified as Officer A who was working with the government, and to be specific with outgoing District Attorney Kim Foxx illegally accessing R. Kelly's restricted phone calls and email records, and later sharing this information with government prosecutors and blogger Tasha K in an act that is illegal and unacceptable by law. While we are all well acquainted with this story, the details of how and when this happened, as well as how this illegally accessed information was used against R. Kelly to push the government agenda remained scanty and unclear to many. Everyone knew a bit of the information, but no one except his legal team knew everything as it happened. The fact, however, remains that if the government navigated their way to winning the case against R. Kelly by breaking the U.S. laws, this is completely unacceptable in the U.S. Department of Justice and should see R. Kelly duly acquitted, and all charges the government filed against him dropped. The fact that the accuser at the center of this BOP scandal was the government's principal witness Azriel Clary leaves the entire New York case against R. Kelly crippled and due for closure in favor of the R&B King. In yet another important phone call, this time from inside the North Carolina prison where R. Kelly is currently held, the R&B King has finally come out to demystify the story surrounding the Bureau of Prison officers and their illegal acts that saw Azriel flip on him, and switching to the government witness camp, quickly turning into their star witness against Robert. According to R. Kelly's version of the story, this disciplinary officer, who has only been identified as Officer A for whatever reason still undisclosed, had accessed all of his phone call and email records 153 times, and illegally forwarded all these emails to her personal Gmail account. She then illegally gave them to Tasha K, who then relayed them on purpose to his girlfriend Azriel with the intention to win her over to the government camp. Of course, when this happened, Azriel was more than pissed off, considering these were numerous lovey-dovey emails to his other girlfriend Joycelyn Savage, in which R. Kelly told her she was never going to leave her for Azriel. On her last visit to R. Kelly in prison while he was still held at the MCC in 2019, Azriel was cursing and telling R. Kelly she had read all the emails and listened to his phone call records. She was definitely unhappy with the thought that R. Kelly was playing her. Meanwhile, she did not only confess to listening to his personal restricted phone calls with Joycelyn, but also with his attorney, which doubles the illegalities. Azriel also added that she had heard R. Kelly talking to his lawyer saying he was not planning on leaving his other girlfriend for her, and from there she did not wait to run to the media and join the mudslinging campaign, and also announced that she will be testifying against him. R. Kelly says at that point he had no idea how Azriel had come to know these things, or how she got access to his restricted prison records. R. Kelly didn't know how the hell Azriel had come to know all this until only 2 weeks to the reading of the New York verdict in 2021, right in the middle of his trial. When asked how important Azriel's testimony was, R. Kelly responds mentioning that she was the star witness and represented 90% of his case. And in his own words, R. Kelly, he says, "I know there are many people out there who don't like R. Kelly, or who just don't want to listen to my music, or that take everything they hear about me as gospel truth. But at the end of the day, my constitutional rights are the same as those of everybody else, and equally my due process is supposed to look like everybody else's due process, for I ain't special or different from any other American citizen in the eyes of the law." R. Kelly made it clear there should not be a celebrity version of the Constitution, and that the law is not just something the government can remix to suit their agenda. Again, in his own words, he said, "I should not be treated like some prosecutor's toy to play with as they please. I am telling you. The law broke the law. And because the law broke the law, it ultimately got me where I am right now. Because if that officers gave Tasha K my restricted phone call and email records, what then does the word restricted mean? The word means don't go to that area or don't mess with this," he added. R. Kelly ends the conversation demanding that an investigation be done into the actions of prematurely retired BOP Officer A and whoever she shared the records with. All this transfers of emails, phone calls and text messages and computer traces ought to be fully investigated in relation to the case number. Kelly read out as follows.
If you don't believe me, me. You can look at it yourself. The case number is
Give it to him, Mark. Give it to him.
20M148. That's the case number. Search warrant. It's unsealed in the Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division. Look, the Chicago Tribune and the Chicago Sun-Times put the article out about my jail records being stolen by Officer A on 9/7/21.
This call is from a federal prison.
R. Kelly went on to shade some light on this matter, mentioning that there are actually two major newspapers which publish stories indicating that his jail records had been stolen. Naming these as the reputable Chicago Tribune and Chicago Sun-Times, R. Kelly demands that these stories be followed up with a thorough investigation. While many people may say R. Kelly had his chance in court, according to him they ought to realize that things could have turned out a lot different if the BOP together with their government counterparts had not broken the laws, and he is right. Towards the end of the discussion, R. Kelly is told people are gonna say he ought to be a one-woman man. If he had been a one-woman man, none of these things would have happened to him. To this, the R&B King responds rather brilliantly and says that while he understands this perfectly well, and when people say that it's okay with him. However, at the end of the day no one goes to jail for being a player. And in fact no one in history has done 30 years for playing women. We could name 10,000 names of prisoners, and in fact name all prisoners around the world, and none is in there for being a player. The most interesting part is when R. Kelly says that fine, they can do this to him to try and teach him a lesson even if it is against the law. But you don't learn a lesson for 30 years, especially because of a woman scorned who will take the stand and say all kinds of things about you because she is mad that you are with another girl. Well, this is exactly what happened. While R. Kelly is not the first man in the United States to send lovey-dovey emails and make phone calls or send text messages to another woman, there is no law against that, but there is a law against stealing inmate information and leaking it to unauthorized persons such as the blogger Tasha K and the public in general. Worse still, using it to win over defense witnesses to the government side, and this is what we all should focus on. You just can't break the law to enforce the law. According to Mike Stevenson. Indeed, R. Kelly shouldn't be in jail because any evidence obtained illegally under the illegal search and seizure law must be suppressed. Even the judge herself can get in trouble if such evidence is allowed in court. The action of obtaining restricted records illegally and using this information to tamper with potential defense witnesses was technically illegal and should see R. Kelly walk free. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to lfnmedia15@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.